and welcome to the Art of Being Human. Today I've decided to go into convulsive disorders or epilepsy because a lot of people have problems with it, but I do want to give you some good news that if you do have epilepsy, a lot of times as you get older it just goes away. You kind of grow out of it. Nonetheless, it can be really difficult if you have it because you don't necessarily know when seizures are going to come, and there are different types of seizures. I know a person who was related to me that had seizures for quite a while. Nobody knew it. And then his behavior became bizarre, some of the things that he did. And I suddenly realized that he was having seizures, and his bizarre behavior was when he was actually in a seizure. So it can be a very difficult illness to deal with, but some people are born with it. Some people have it most of their lives, but a lot of people have it for a period of time, and then it just disappears with age. So let's get on with what it is and what it does. In a convulsive disorder, in epilepsy, there's an abnormal electrical discharge in the brain. You know, the brain, it takes impulses and it sends impulses to different places to do different things. So if I put my hand on a hot stove, a brain impulse will come and I yank my hand away quickly because I realize that it's hot. And so we live on the impulses that we give to the brain and the impulses that come back from the brain so that we can move, so we can walk, so we can talk. I mean, I don't have to think, I think I'll move my hand now. I think I'll talk now. I think I'll breathe now. All of that is taken care of kind of automatically with the body. Now, we can move, we can talk, we can breathe, we get all of the things that we can do because of the impulses that we get from the brain that go to our muscles, and they go so fast. They travel so fast that you don't have to stop and think, I'd like to make a hand gesture. I'd like to look somewhere else. I'd like to make a comment. Brain, send me what I need. It's just kind of automatic. But when you have epilepsy, you have a lot of electrical activity in the brain that's not regulated, that does not come at an appropriate time, and so there are abnormal electrical impulses that send you into a seizure. There are different types of seizures, and I want to get into that. There are 4 classifications of epilepsy, and I want to mention it can start at any age, but when you're older, a lot of times it just stops, as I mentioned before. 4 classes of epilepsy. There's the grand mal seizure. That you can't miss because a person will lose consciousness and they will fall. And usually they fall with a cry or some kind of a sound, and you know that it's coming. The muscles become stiff. There's a violent jerking of the muscles in the arms, especially of the head and the jaw and the trunk. There can be a foaming or a frothing at the mouth. That's due to air going through saliva. That's where that comes from. They can lose control of their bladder and their bowels, and it's so exhausting that when they finally get over it, they will sleep sometimes for hours because their bodies are exhausted from it. With those muscle spasms in which there's a lot of jerking and you can't stop the jerking, and a lot of times you're unconscious, you don't even know what's going on. Now, some people will know when a seizure is coming on because they'll be able to sense it, they'll be able to feel it. Sometimes they'll see an aura or colors or light, and that's a signal to them that the seizure is coming. And then what they do is they try to find a place to lay down or to sit down so they won't be standing up and falling on the floor. But that's what it is. It's violent. It lasts for maybe a minute or 2. If it lasts for more than 5 minutes, you need to call an ambulance because you could do a lot of damage if you have a seizure that lasts that long. In fact, a seizure that lasts that long can actually kill a person. So it's usually not that long, a minute or 2. And when a person is having a seizure, you don't really have to do anything. You want to make sure that they're not going to be so close to furniture that they're going to bang up against it and get hurt. If their clothing is tight, you want to loosen it up to help them with breathing. And from what I've read, don't put anything in their mouths because you don't know it. You could get stuck in their throat. You know, my brother liked to hunt, and he had a good friend of his that liked to hunt. And they went hunting one day, and my brother didn't realize that this friend of his who was going hunting with, he'd never been hunting with him before, had seizures. So this man is up there with his gun, and he's waving his gun around everywhere, and he's in the middle of a seizure. So it certainly is the last time that my brother went hunting with him, because he was afraid he was going to get shot. But he also talked to him, do you realize that you had a seizure? Do you realize what could have happened? You could have hurt yourself. You could have shot something, or you could have shot me. You could have shot anybody. And I'm not sure whether he knew that he was having seizures or not. Eventually he died, and he died in a seizure, which is possible. There's something called SUDEP, S-U-D-E-P, and it stands for sudden unexpected death. It is due to epilepsy, S-U-D-E-P, S-U-D, sudden unexpected death, and the E-P stands for epilepsy. And it does happen, a person dying in epilepsy, usually because the airway has been cut off and the person can't breathe right while they're in the seizure, and there's nothing that anybody can do unless they can somehow help the person to open the airway. Usually you don't want to put anything in a person's mouth because you don't know if during the seizure they're going to try to swallow it and it's going to get stuck in their throat. So that's the grand mal seizure. Now, the next type is a petit mal. Petit mal, spelled P-E-T-I-T, like petite, mal, M-A-L. The petit mal is not so tragic in a way. A person will get dizzy, they will lose consciousness, but only for a few seconds at a time. The eyes will stare, it looks like they're daydreaming. They have kind of phased out of the picture, and it can happen hundreds of times a day. That's what's difficult about it. It keeps happening over and over and over. When I went to college as a college freshman, I was taking biology as a class, and there was a girl in the class taking biology. She just couldn't do very well with it. She wasn't doing very well in the classes, so she wanted some help. She wanted to know if I could tutor her, and I agreed to do that, and she drove over to my house, and we were going to have a tutoring session, and I was going to teach her what she needed to know so she could get her grades up. And I noticed when I talked to her, all of a sudden she'd be gone. You know, all of a sudden she'd be staring in space just for a few seconds, and then she'd come back and start talking. And then again, it happened over and over and over again. And I suddenly realized, of course she wasn't doing well in school because she was only catching half of what the professor said. Because it happened so many times, she would like be there and not, be there and not. And as a result of that, she couldn't get half of what the professor was saying. And so I didn't mention it to her at that time because I was just a college freshman and I wasn't sure what to do. But her driving must have been awful because she would have been passing out or phasing out when she was driving. But at any rate, that's petit mal. They lose consciousness, their eyes stare, it looks like they're daydreaming, and it can happen hundreds of times a day. So that's petit mal seizures. There is something called a Jacksonian seizure, and it begins in one part of the body and the muscles twitch. And it spreads over the entire side of the body, and the muscles are just twitching. And the person may or may not lose consciousness. They may lose consciousness, but they may not lose consciousness. And so that's a Jacksonian seizure. And then you have psychomotor seizures, where a person loses consciousness, but they continue the activity as if nothing had happened, as if they were conscious. The same activity that they were doing when they have the seizure, they just continue in that same activity. The attacks may last for a few minutes, or they can keep getting them over a period of several days. They may harm themselves and others, so you have to be careful, but at the same time, when they come out of it, they don't have any memory of it at all. So if they're standing there, say a woman is having one of these seizures, a psychomotor seizure, and she's washing the dishes, she's going to continue washing the dishes over and over again. As long as that seizure lasts, she's washing dishes. You know, and so it just keeps going and going and going, that she doesn't go unconscious, she doesn't foam at the mouth, the muscles don't get jerky, but they stand there and rigidly do what they were doing, and they don't stop. That's the psychomotor epilepsy. Now, the epilepsy is a convulsive disorder in which you get recurrent seizures, and the seizures are abnormal and due, as I said before, to electrical activity in the brain. The seizures can occur also with a head injury or a birth trauma or a brain infection like meningitis or a stroke or drug and alcohol withdrawal. It can be inherited. There's no known specific cause for epilepsy. I can't say that every epileptic has some of the same history. They either had a brain injury, they had an accident, somebody dropped them on their head, or what happened. You know, some people just have it. So it kind of runs in families. It kind of goes along with a family situation, and they just have it, and they can develop it pretty much at any time. It can be inherited. 1 person in 200 people have epilepsy, and there is about 1 million in the United States. It's a tragic illness because it causes so many problems with the people who have it. It's an embarrassment to them because they just don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen anytime, and they have no way, unless they're seeing an aura or something happens to let them know that a seizure is on the way. Then they have no idea when it's going to occur. They can't drive. If you are a driver and you've had a seizure, then you have to be without a seizure for so many years before you can get your license back. I thought in New Hampshire it was 1 year. There was one girl who had a seizure, and it was due to medication that she had. She stopped the medication. She never had another seizure, but she told me she would have to go a year without a seizure before they would let her have her license back, even though seizures weren't natural to her and they were due to medication. And that happens. Some medications produce seizures. And so if you're taking a medication and you're suddenly seeing auras and things like that, you need to check with your doctor, because it may be a seizure-producing medication. Some people have problems with it. Now, if you want to categorize it, we have 2 groups of seizures. There's a general and partial seizures. In generalized seizures, you lose consciousness and it affects the entire body. In a partial seizure, the person may retain consciousness, not always, but they can retain the consciousness, and it may be caused by brain damage, and it may be limited to just one area of the brain. And the seizures may start in a very limited area and then spread to the rest of the body. And if it spreads to the rest of the body, then you can go from a limited seizure, partial seizure, to a generalized seizure where the whole body is affected. So the brain can start with a generalized seizure and then go to a full seizure, which would be a generalized seizure. I had a student in my office when I was teaching as a college professor, and all of a sudden her arm started twitching, really twitching. And I knew she had seizures, and I expected a seizure to occur. And what she did was she was holding her arm, trying to hold her arm close to her body to keep it in control and stop it. But once a seizure is started, I'm not sure how you'd keep it in control. How is it treated? Well, sometimes it's treated by medication. You can get anticonvulsive drugs to stop seizures, and sometimes they can be quite effective. There are some times when they actually can do brain surgery and stop if it's one particular part of the brain that's doing it, and they can locate that part of the brain, they can actually go into the brain. It's tricky surgery because it's brain surgery, and they can cut some of the nerves it stops the seizure before it starts, because the electro neuron activity just doesn't go anywhere. It's stopped, and so therefore the seizures are stopped with it. So there are various ways. I think most of the time it's done with medication. But there are some people who have triggers, and they get seizures at certain times, you know, and seizures, there is a relationship of seizures to migraine headaches. Migraine headaches can occur when you have a certain kind of trigger. The lights are too bright, you're too tired, the temperature has changed drastically from hot to cold or cold to hot. Or in one case that I knew, one of my nephews, he would have a seizure, or migraine headache, excuse me, he didn't have seizures, but he would have a migraine headache after he had a good day. If he had a wonderful day and things were going great, the next day he would get a terrible migraine. But there is a relationship between the migraine headache and seizures, but it doesn't mean that if you have one, you're going to have the other. But there is a connection between them. So it is a horrible thing to have, and you have to work at getting help. And some people will feel a seizure coming on, and then they can work with that. They know what to do to get in a quiet place so that maybe the seizure won't last as long. So it can be treated with anticonvulsive drugs. These anticonvulsive drugs are likely to cause drowsiness and lack of concentration. And sometimes, as I've said a couple of times before, the seizures will lessen and disappear with time as a person gets older. Nobody knows why, but sometimes it just happens. Now, there are some jobs that you can't do if you have seizures. Driving would be one. You might be restricted in certain jobs because you don't know when a seizure is going to occur, and you can't be in a situation where you could put other people in danger if you have a seizure. So you have to consider what your job options are. If you want a career and you have seizures, then you have to be careful as to when you have what kind of job you have, because you can't just have any job. Now, if a seizure lasts more than 5 minutes, you need to call an ambulance, because people can die of seizures if they last too long. Most of the time, just let it run. Loosen the clothing, as I said before, and just let it go its course. And then when the person is out of it, he's out of it. And usually their functioning returns to normal. Sometimes they need to sleep afterwards because they've been exhausted by it. And I know of one person who said that even though she didn't like having a convulsive disorder, that when she got through with a seizure, she really felt a whole lot better. It's like the world opened up to her again, and she didn't feel sick. She felt really good. And that happened to her after every time she had a seizure. She didn't want the seizure, but it was a relief to feel so much better when it was over. So I'm going to close it here, and we'll go into something else next time. I want to go into eating disorders. I want to go into sleeping disorders. I may go into AIDS and a few other things. And then we're going to wrap up this section of chronic illnesses and go on into something else. So I won't be spending too much time on it. And but we'll do some more things. We need to do more things with this, and we'll start something else. So I'm going to close it here. Please join me next time.